Hello everyone and welcome back to another high-level match of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you today is a best-of-3 series where I couldn't help but notice that our Zerg player selected the very first drone that he produced. I've casted a lot of Dark games lately, so by the way, spawning right here in the bottom right-hand corner we have Dark. I've casted a lot of his games lately, and especially when he plays on Neo-Humanity against a Protoss player, or really when he plays against a Protoss player in general, this man is fond of going for some early game cheese. And I think indeed in this game, he's gonna go for the Proxy Hatchery behind the Protoss' natural. Speaking of which, playing here with the Red Protoss pieces from Denmark, we're looking at MaxPax's main Nexus. Now, if I know, because I've casted quite a few Dark games, right? He must have gone for this build like 3 or 4 times. If I know, I've got a feeling that MaxPax should also be aware. Huh? He went for an early game scouting probe. He's going to start checking the third base location right now. Okay, he's going to check the forward third as well. Okay, maybe MaxPax doesn't quite realize that this is a build order that Dark likes to go for. I believe this particular series was played about a week or so ago, so I mean, he should really be aware if he's studied any of his opponent's replays. But anyways, now he's got to get into the opponent's main base and he'll see, judging by that spawning pool timing, that something is not quite right. Now, will he see the additional workers that are coming across the map as well? This is actually a bit of a variation that I haven't seen Dark play. I've seen him go for like 1 additional proxy worker. Maybe 2? 3 seems... Ooh, 4 seems like quite a lot. Okay. No, Max does not see them. Okay, he should spot at least the 1 additional drone here. That one right now is almost faking to be a scouting worker as it decides to go straight through the center of the map. Dark spotting that right there with his very first overlord as well. Or sorry, his second overlord right over here as well. Anyways, these drones, yeah, they are gonna start exploiting the obvious weakness on Neo-Humanity. What's interesting to me is that none of the other top-level Zergs seem to go for Proxy Hatcheries really ever. Right? And Dark, I mean, he's definitely one of the very best. He goes for a proxy batch, a proxy hatch. I want to say at least once in a best-of-3 series, maybe even twice. He really seems, yeah, he really seems to be fond of this particular strategy. Anyhow, now he finds out, MaxPax that is. Let's see how good the crisis management will be. Spinecrawler number 1 is going to finish up momentarily. Second Spinecrawler already coming up. A couple of links sneak into the main base just to try and be annoying as, well, apparently the links that are rallied in from the main base, yeah, they're going to just go straight through the center, try to go through the opening in this wall. Good control here so far by Max. I really like the shield battery positioning over there as well. He decides to snipe the tumor, and he does get that. That's actually super critical, because otherwise these Spinecrawlers, they're gonna be heading on over towards the high ground. Link speed is not too far behind. Dark decided to pull all the drones out of gas as well, so he's gonna try and be as obnoxious with Zerglings as he possibly can be. Okay, there's another creep tumor. And now there's a Spinecrawler done as well. Brenda herself is body blocking any Adept that wants to come close, so that creep tumor will certainly finish up. In the meantime, okay, good control right here on the probes in the main base as well. Not really losing all too many. Only a single worker going down so far on the side of the Protoss. And that is exactly what you're hoping for. 24 versus 15 workers here. Dark definitely needs to deal a significant amount of damage. But I wonder how in the world, battery overcharge already used here, how in the world are you going to hold on against these Spinecrawlers? Suddenly, there are 4 of these Pokeboys poking at your natural. There's not a lot of space here, yeah. That Spinecrawler doesn't fit. He needs to wait until a little bit more creep is available. They need a 2x2, okay, there you go. A 2x2 amount of creep there in order to actually root. Either way, Link's in the main base right now. The Adept looking a little vulnerable. Yeah, no, he decides to send him towards the natural once again. The Zerglings, that is. But how in the world are you gonna break this? Okay, Robo Facility comes up right now. Immortals are awesome. Prisms are awesome. But they are going to be, yeah, quite a while until anything like that will hit the battlefield. Void Rays could also help out, I suppose, but I've got a feeling that, yeah, by the time that any of those units can be out, the natural is going to be long gone, and with it, all of these structures as well. I always feel like the Nexus doesn't really matter that much. These structures here are a lot more expensive, and also tech-wise, a whole lot more important. Okay. So, mission successful, Dark. Yeah, okay. No, he actually decides to go for drones over at the, well, the Protoss' third base. So he's gonna start mining. Ooh, Okay, well, a little bit of sloppy control there by MaxPax, it seems. Desperately trying to recall, desperately trying to force field, but none of those things really working out in his favor. Some of the units at least managed to evacuate on over towards the Nexus, but none of the sentries, and those are really the units you want to be using to accumulate as much energy as possible. He's droning pretty hard, actually. Yeah, so he's just going to start mining out the third base of the Protoss layer. Okay. Well, is this game over yet? Not quite, but MaxPax is gonna have to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Even this fails right here for him as well. There's one little Adept trying to be obnoxious, fair enough. Maybe she can kill an entire mineral line worth. That would be amazing. Dark probably thinking, okay, this is GG, right? How exactly do you lose this game right now if you're Dark? Well, there's a couple of options. Dark Templar, always an option. Suddenly a couple of Void Rays or Oracles or whatever showing up, always an option as well. Maybe a one base all-in, certainly not a terrible idea. Yeah, so Dark is looking around the map right now with Zerglings everywhere. If you look at the mini-map, he's basically been checking every location. Overlords are all over the map. The Queens are gonna start going back home. They know that this location will probably not last all too much longer. Either way, though, there is a really beautiful contain here at the bottom of the main base. Spore crawlers are coming up. Yeah, everything is going amazingly well here for Dark. He's now making 2 expansions on his side of the map as well. That is a little bit greedy, but I guess he had the money for it. And honestly, it's still gonna take a couple of minutes at least before MaxPax will reliably be able to take his own expansion here. MaxPax probably anticipating a one base push here from Dark. So yeah, he's just sitting on top of this ramp, hoping that the Zerg is gonna send units here into the main base, but that is not happening here so far. Prism will be popping out of the Robo facility very soon. The Immortals are gonna be awesome. They're really quite good, of course, at taking out... Ooh, lovely little move there from Dark. Activating the barrier ability on both of those Immortals, making them a whole lot more vulnerable. Yeah, so the Prism and the Immortals, they're gonna be pretty good. You can juggle them, right? Try to get rid of these spines. And I do think eventually the spines will probably fall, but... by the time that happens, Dark will probably be at full 2-base saturation at least. A couple of force fields at least attempted. Not really getting a whole lot of value there either. Okay. Props to MaxPax for fighting this one out, though. He's trying to crawl back up. The referee hasn't counted all the way yet, so at least he still has a chance. Obviously, in StarCraft, you can still come out swinging, right? But I feel like you need to, you're gonna need to punch Dark at least a dozen times. Are we gonna even retreat with spine crawlers? I love this. We're chasing spine crawlers with Immortals in a Prism. Look at these Zerglings escorting this as well to the best of their abilities. Yep, okay. This location is just completely being left alone right now. Zerglings, okay, I thought they were gonna try and head on over towards the main base. Good set of force fields there at that time around. There is an observer up in the air too, so MaxPax is gonna be able to get rid of the creep there on the low ground. Keep in mind that in, well, multiplayer, you cannot build on creep as a Protoss player. In co-op, that's an option, but yeah, not gonna happen in 1 versus 1. So he needs to wait, if he ever wants to expand, until all of those, well, creep tumors are gone. Instead, MaxPax decides to go for a 1-base all-in. So this is 4 gateways, 1 robo facility, and a dream. Yeah. The dream is... I love the fact that the proxy spines have come back home. Not all of them, but at least some of them. Anyways, the dream is very much so alive, and this is honestly a scary Protoss army. Supply-wise, look at that, 55 versus, well, when I started that sentence, 55. So this is honestly a really good attempt right here from MaxPax. Did Dark just get a little bit too greedy? Oh my god, if MaxPax actually wins this with a 1-base Immortal Sentry push, I'm gonna lose my mind. Hallucinated Colossus as well, everybody knows that that is fake. I think that is pretty much always gonna be a misclick here. There's no way that Dark assumes that that is real. Okay. Those force fields are really powerful. Spine crawlers right now moving forward as well. Every minute though that goes by right now, the income is so heavily in favor of our Zerg. Look at that. It's not even remotely close. So as long as he can just hold on to this position, make as many reinforcements as possible, spend his actual bank, yeah, he's gotta be okay. Come on, Dark. Game number 2, we find ourselves an Ancient Cistern. He's not rallying the drone. Nah, he's not rallying the drone. I think that this one will just go to good old conventional mining in the main base. How boring. Alright, I decided to fast forward to the point where the cybernetics core finishes up, just because everything has been progressing as we expected to. No tech just yet here from our Protoss player. I'm assuming we're gonna go for some sort of, some sort of tech structure here connected to that second pylon, and indeed, it's gonna be a Twilight Council. Interesting. Okay. MaxPax, generally speaking, definitely a Stargate kind of guy, but he has been branching out quite a bit over the last couple of years. Zerglings are going across the map. Third hatchery will be coming up as well for Dark, but he was forced to take his third base first, just because of the fact that there was a probe being as annoying as possible. MaxPax was not gonna fall for a Proxy Hatchery a second time. Okay, double Overlord Scout actually. That is kind of interesting to me. Generally speaking, we see a single Overlord Scout, but I guess if he noticed here that the Warp Gate upgrade started up right away, you should know that it's likely not a Stargate, so... really? We're not gonna get confirmation. Okay, I think Dark probably already knows roughly what he's playing against. Just the fact that he left 2 Overlords on the other side of the map probably indicates that he knows that it's not gonna be a Stargate opener, and therefore he doesn't really need to check the main base. It's really... ooh, that's unfortunate. There's still like a wide range of build orders that the Protoss player can go for, Glaive Adepts obviously being one of them, but there's also, I don't know, Disruptor drops, there's Archon drops, there's Dark Templar into Archon drops, there's a lot of different options. Generally speaking though, the majority of them are dealt with the same way, right? In the same way, so you really want to make sure that you make drones first, and then eventually you start up army. The question is, how many workers do you produce? The conventional amount is give or take about 40 something. If you don't know what you're playing against, I wouldn't really go over any more than like 42, and that may already be a little bit greedy, but Dark's certainly he's certainly known as a greedy boy, so I wouldn't be surprised if the man is going to drone quite aggressively here. Glaive Adepts are going to be the follow-up. Now this is kind of cool. There's already 3 gateways done, and Max is adding on 3 more. Normally... once again, the standard the standard Glaive Adept opener goes off of 4 gateways. So this is 6 gateways right here for Max, which means that he's going to be able to produce more units than he otherwise would be able to, right? As you know, it's pretty obvious. Dark has already started making quite a large army though. Yeah, he's already started making units here off of just 37 workers. Well, he had a couple more, but he's decided to add on some spore crawlers, just because there's always a chance that at about 5 minutes or 10 seconds or so that there's, gonna be a couple of DTs showing up, so he decides to rather be safe than sorry. I actually like the fact that he produced one right over here. Yeah, he's gonna move that to the front as well. This means that the main base doesn't need a spore. Now the lair is coming up. Can MaxPax catch his opponent off guard with a 6-gate push? That's already a lot. A rapid fire warp in as well. Max is going to be able to bring a lot more units to the party than what Dark was anticipating here. That is so many units. Are we going to jump? I don't think you can jump on that, Dark. Look at the amount of adepts. Keep in mind they have the glaives research, so they're going to be able to fire about 45% faster. Okay, a couple of corrosive biles, but beautifully dodged right there by MaxPax without really losing a single attack on his adepts. So far, not a lot of workers have gone down, but I don't think that's going to be too far behind, as now the Adepts are, well, reinforcing this as well. They're going to shade on over towards the third base. He needs to deal some sort of damage, because those Adepts, they do fall off as the game progresses, but now suddenly, they are showing up everywhere. Good control right here, though, from Dark. Very nice crisis management. Considering that he didn't know what he was playing against, this is working out quite nicely for him so far. He's lost 1 worker. He's lost 1 worker in total this entire game so far. That is absolutely ridiculous. Now, obviously, he was already a little low on the worker count anyways. But losing 0 drones, I believe, to the Adept so far, that is quite insane. Max has not given up yet. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even have a 3rd Nexus yet, so that's the main advantage of going 4 gateways over 6. You really want to... Okay, you really want to deal some sort of damage. Right now, he's looking at the roaches, he's looking at the ravagers, he's looking at the queens. He's like, you know what? I think I can face you guys head on. There are a lot more roaches on the back of this too, but they don't have the Glio Reconstitution upgrade, so they're kind of slow. They're slowches. Slow roaches. Okay, no, I tried. Anyways, he does have the lair, but he hasn't really had the resources and, well, the time to really start up that roach speed improvement in the roach warren, so... Okay, now it's starting to hurt. Yep, now it's really starting to hurt right here for Dark. The Protoss economy is nothing amazing, but it's pretty dang good. Immortals coming up on the back of this too. I really like that. Usually in these sort of scenarios, what Zerg players will do is they will overmake defensive units to then go and counterattack. But without roach speed, right, you really do want to usually start that up. I love the prism as well, just to try and keep that Zerg army at home. Anyways, without roach speed, Zerg can't really go for a proper attack. And that now means he has to drone from behind. Pro production has started back up right here for MaxPax, which I think is a great idea. Yeah, so even though initially he didn't really do a lot of damage with the Adepts, in the end he got 9 workers. And, well, economically speaking, Protoss has been ahead here for quite a while. So it's usually not the Adepts that win the game, it's the follow-up attack. With a 6-gate push though, when exactly do you go for the follow-up attack? Yeah, okay, we're just gonna go right now. So basically as soon as he's got 2 Immortals. He did not research Charge, he didn't research Blink or anything like that, so I think we're gonna go for that, I've seen Hero do this a bunch of times, where we go, yeah, just for more and more of these Adepts. Sure, they fall off when the Zerg army grows, but in this game, there hasn't really been a chance for the Zerg army to grow, so lovely plays right here for MaxPax. Okay, Zerg was setting up a concave there on the high ground, not gonna happen. Only a couple of Ravagers available here, 2 Adepts sneaking in from the side, I love that little move. Okay, good force fields here at the front as well, Immortals trying to maximize the damage, but those Adepts are actually gonna be so annoying. The roach count is still quite big though. Those Immortals, actually we have 3 Immortals. I thought I only saw 2 earlier. Were there 3 already on the screen at the time? Anyways, 3 Immortal is amazing because, well, if they fire on the same unit, they can actually one-shot it, which deals a stupid amount of damage, of course. Reinforcing roaches, pop out of the cocoons immediately into the arms of the Adepts and those Immortals. 13 additional workers have gone down to a relatively small squad of units. I think this one is in the bag right now, Max. Zerg still struggling to try and get the 3rd base up and running. MaxPax in the meantime. Yeah, he's already got his base saturated. And that takes us to Royal Blood, the final game for this particular series. Standard openers once again from both players, so fast expansions. The Protoss blocked the natural, but instead the 3rd base was acquired here first. By the way, they're playing the latter version of this particular map, which still features the old carpets! Nice, right? These are cursed carpets, by the way. These are the ones that can hide the Widow Mines perfectly. I'm still a little bothered by them. In the tournament edition of this particular map, they have basically updated the carpets to, well, these wannabe hexagon looking, whatever they are, man. Yeah, they've upgraded them to that in every single base, so not nearly as exciting. Anyways, what exactly is the opener gonna be this time around for MaxPax? Twilight Council once more. Are we once again gonna go for the same build, Max? No, MaxPax. Come on, we gotta go for something a little more exciting. We're doing nothing. Okay, love it. Big fan. I thought maybe Charge would be cool, but I guess we're gonna go Blink? Straight Blink? Oh. That makes a whole lot more sense, actually. For some reason, I just was so zeroed in on that Twilight Council that I didn't even consider the fact he could go for a Dark Shrine. Thank you very much for showing. In my defense, this build hasn't been very popular lately, okay? I brought it up in the previous game, didn't I? So this is a build order that you could do back in the day quite frequently because Zerg players didn't know how to manage the Archon drops. These days, it's not very popular at all because the top level players are very good when it comes to dealing with Archons. Usually what you do is you rush out a couple of DTs, and then when the Dark Templar can't really deal a whole lot of damage anymore, you bring them back to the Prism, you morph them into Archons, and then you continue the harassment. So it's like a double layered attack. Dark has been pretty passive with his Overlord scouts. I mean, he's got 2 Overlords once again on the other side of the map, but he doesn't do anything with them. He's not really scouting much either. Okay, well now he sees the Prism leaving, I suppose, but In his mind, this could be the exact same build as he saw in the previous game. Spore Crawler does come up. Are we gonna go for a second Spore as well? Because this could be a disaster, Dark. Yeah, Dark is kind of playing, like, I love this, by the way. MaxPax is bringing the Adepts that he made as well to try and sell the story that this is once more gonna be a... Okay, now he sees it. Yeah, that this is once again gonna be an Adept push. So, MaxPax trying to trick his opponent. And honestly, I've seen Max go for this exact opener a couple times, actually, now that I think of it. Yeah. I remember remarking this in the past where I thought this was a strange combination of units, but it actually works surprisingly well. There's a lot of damage coming out of this, and the Prism can pick up a ton of these units as well. If there's no detection in this location, which there really won't be until the lair is done, it's actually insane how much damage this small little hit squad of units can do. Yeah, so rather than jumping mineral lines, I mean, he would like to do that, but rather than jumping the mineral lines, he's playing this very cautiously and just killing whatever army unit that he can. So 20 Zerglings have gone down, 1 Roach has gone down, with just, yeah, 2 Adepts going down on the side of the Protoss. So I think we should warp in 1 more Dark Templar and then bring the Adepts back home. Yeah, okay. Dark knows that if he can jump on this as the Archons are morphing in, he can actually shut it down and force a recall. So yeah, Protoss is going to be forced to back off here for a while. Ooh. Rather than going for the Roach speed upgrade, Dark decides to go straight into a Spire. So this is a pretty early Spire, all things considered. I don't think the Archon drops are going to be nearly as quick as I anticipated them to be. Yeah, only just now is when the Archons are going to be joining the battlefield, but interesting little play. If MaxPax does not scout this Spire though, the Mutas may be coming out completely uncontested. Blink is coming up on the back of this, which is a fantastic upgrade against Mutas, but it happens all the time where there is Blink and then suddenly like 8 Mutas show up and there's like 3 Stalkers and everything still dies. You gotta be very careful. Okay, we're not gonna really use the Archons here for economical harassment, but mostly for some creep clearing. Observer in the mix as well. Yeah, this is like a modern iteration of the, ooh, no, really? He just lost an Archon there for free. That sucks. Anyways, well, for free because there was some harassment over here on the left side of the map too. But anyways, yeah, it's like a modern iteration of the Dark Templar build, and I actually kind of like it. I hope it comes back into popularity. We don't really see a lot of players go for it lately, but yeah, it didn't get nerfed or whatever. It's just that the other players got better. Anyhow, 9 Mutas are coming up here, I think. At least as soon as Dark has the minerals for it. At this point, he's actually not been saving up particularly well. Spire is done. Yeah, now he starts up a couple of Mutalisks, but he needs to wait until the Mutas have a little bit more supply available, so he needs to wait until the Overlords are finished. Now we're gonna go for 9 Mutas. Okay, I feel like these are delayed by like 20 seconds. Mostly because of his own mismanagement, so that is a nice little plus right there for Max. Charge coming up as well, so we're, yeah, getting a whole lot of upgrades in the Twilight Council after the Dark Templar shenanigans. So normally this is when the Mutas are supposed to be out on the other side. Yeah, so they're actually a little bit late. Stalkers at the very least force the Council on the 4th base. Prism not hunted down, by the way. These Mutas will be unscouted. So Max is gonna see them for the first time as they enter the Protoss natural. But he's also looking at this army at the front probably, and there's really not that much available for the Zerg. Then again though, I think you probably want to be bringing those Stalkers back home, because yeah, the economical damage here can be tremendous. Okay, Stalkers get recalled. Mutas go into the main base. There is a Photon Cannon here coming up as well. But this is already a lot of damage here being done by the Zerg, and honestly, yeah, that is more than you can hope for here as Dark. The way that these bases are laid out is actually also really good for Muta play, right? This 5th hatchery, or Nexus, I guess. 4th Nexus, rather, sorry. Counting is hard. It also is located in such a way that the Mutas can just fly from one location to the next. Colossi, though, coming up here for MaxPax. So Colossi obviously usually bundled together with Stalkers. Definitely not a bad option. I think that Prism needs to be very careful, though. Where is the Prism? Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, there's no way. I saw a Dark Templar getting warped in, and I thought for a second he wanted to continue the Archon harassment. Usually after the economical play, the Mutas will be hunting down any Prisms that will still be around the map. Ah, the Dark Templar here are warped in to try and get rid of the base again. Okay, one of them is gonna go into Well, it seemed to be the natural. If you can shut down the 4th hatchery a second time, though, that would be amazing. There is an Overseer coming up, but it's a little late. Oh, nicely done. Turns out StarCraft 2 is not a strategy game, it's a MOBA. MaxPax controlling everything. If he can get that, man, he should have sent the 2nd Dark Templar over here too. Okay, yeah, he does get it. No castle either, so that's that entire base gone. 300 minerals down the drain, plus the drone as well, so that is really quite painful. Okay, Muta's still trying to be obnoxious, but Stalkers are located in the right place this time around. The majority of the Mutas already got picked off. Well, maybe not the majority, but a lot of the Mutas have already gotten picked off as well. And that means that, yeah, you don't really need a whole lot anymore to actually push back the Mutalisks that are still in the skies. Dark is going full Roach Ravager Link here. So he's essentially saying, yo, I've only got 55 workers, but I do have a ton of army. 130 army supply right now versus only 81 for the Protoss player. Immortals, yeah, would have been a better option here. Those Colossi do barely anything. Okay. If Protoss can hold on for another minute or two, his army is gonna be significantly bigger. But I don't really like this unit comp all too much. +3 is coming up even, which I honestly don't think is necessary. Maybe this is a misread right here from MaxPax. Maybe he thinks that this is just a little bit of a roach push, but this is essentially an all-in right now for our Zerg player, and there's really not that much. Now, I do love the Stalker movement, though. Sniping a few of those Ravagers from the back. Disruptor, 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 okay. Very good. Prism, though. Stalkers, though, are not going to be an option anymore as the Cyber Core goes down. So he's going to have to warp in Zealots. He does have charge, so at the very least, that's a pretty nice situation to be in. A new Cyber Core starts up right now, but... Dark may actually be doing this. Dark is so silly good when it comes to making these decisions, man. Such a ridiculous attack. 55 workers only versus 4 base Protoss? Dark Templar is still an option too. I actually almost forgot about the DTs. Okay, we do decide to blink forward. Dark realizes, though, there's really nothing he can do against the Dark Templar. The Protoss reinforcements are still showing up out of those gateways. And in the end, our Protoss player with some very creative strategies, he's got a little bit too much.